We are live for another Friday episode of the Urban Law Show, discussing all the relevant matters of today. And nothing is more relevant today than the stimulus, specifically the Paycheck Protection Program that's a part of the CARES Act, which is also known, aka the stimulus plan to help small businesses. I am joined by my right hand, the man with the plan, none other than Attorney Charles Irvin. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? How's your Friday going?
Oh, man. It is crazy, ridiculously chaotic on this end. Just really, as we all grapple with just understanding this process for getting the assistance for small businesses. And so the word of the day for everybody is patience, please. Patience. It's going to happen. But have some patience and try to be as nice as you can to the people that are trying to help you as they navigate through this. And I promise if you do that, you will get service faster than if you act a fool. So just keep that food for thought in.
Well, you say patience, but now I heard on MSNBC that there is money available for individuals, children, businesses, and nonprofits. I need my check today. What do I do?
Yeah. So, so a couple of things. Let me just I'm gonna share something in a minute here. You find a blank one. And I'll share this. But keep talking. I'm going to find some resources here and share this while you're talking about it.
Well, my concern is we're getting information from the media, and everybody is tuned in to all the cable news channels, the local press conferences, and all this information is swirling out there about what's available. And people definitely need the funds.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not really talking about the mechanics of how you get from press conference or news report to an actual check in hand. And I think that's where we can kind of bridge the gap today, is try to help people understand what that process is going to look like. And if we can provide assistance through the show or otherwise, lay the information out for them today so that they can know what to expect. Have some more realistic time frames, and kind of do that for our viewing audience.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, first of all, we're in the same boat. So let me share some things with you. So some of you we all heard the news. Starting today, you'll be able to apply. There was even some information that was flooding the market on talk shows and different things that you could start as early. Some banks will release the application as early as midnight. Listen, guys, there was no mandate that said it had to be midnight. That did not happen across the board. And a lot of banks have tried and have the application online, but you can't access it. So what some of you may be seeing, and I'm just going to show you some examples of kind of what's going on right now. So you may be seeing something that's like this. So you go to your bank, and you got something that says, we're sorry for the inconvenience. The online application is currently unavailable due to high volume. Please check back later to begin your application process. You're going to see that what's happening is the systems are crashing.
What does that look like so that they can have a real world example?
That is live in the real world right there. It's exactly an example.
Put it up on the screen. I can't see it for some reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Let me make sure you can see it. All right, you should be able to see it now. Can you see it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So it looks like that. And that's happening because due to the sheer volume and the demand that's on the systems, it's just not able to handle it right now. It'll catch up, it'll beef up as everybody hit it kind of right on the first day because everybody needs help. And so I expect that to subside. So I'm going to
let me ask you this question, Larry, because the initial press conferences said contact your SBA branch. And a lot of people went over and filled out something at the SBA. or the Small Business Administration, what were they filling out and why?
Good question. I really don't have a good answer for you, and I'm not even sure they do. So that's just being as authentic and genuine as I can be. There was an application online for the SBA for disaster relief fund. We all filled it out. There was a box you could check on there to be eligible for a $10,000 grant that you were supposed to receive in short as 3 days. Look, I feel that it's been longer than 3 days, and I can tell you so far I've received zero. So I don't know what.
I'm not sure what happened there, but the long and short of it is it's going to take some time for digital infrastructure to catch up with the applications and the amount of people who are in need. I don't think they are really prepared for this level of onslaught in applications. You back with us, Leslie?
I am back with you. As you can see, systems are crashing everywhere. We normally never have a problem with this one, but it's just a sheer amount of volume on the internet. So let me give you a workaround here. Hopefully I didn't lose it as the system crashed, of what you can do. I'm going to try to share this again. If I drop out, I'll pop back in because I want to get this information to you. You can, the applications are out there. You can download so you'll know and start having an idea of what you need to collect. Now, what I want to be clear about, you've got to be able to have the documentation to show what your payroll amounts was. Some of the key things you're going to have to know is your average monthly payroll. That's payroll that you have W-2, that's including your payroll taxes, all of that information, as well as what you pay your 1099 staff. So you got to put all that together and then divide that by 12 and calculate your average monthly payroll. Multiply that times 2.5 equals the loan amount value. And that's what goes in that field there. And then the number of employees, the number of jobs you have, employees that are on payroll. So that's what that is. Then right underneath that, you will have to, it tells you the purpose of the loan you want to select, whether it's for payroll, rent, mortgage, interest, utilities, and other. Be careful with the other because you need to explain out specifically what that other is for. And I think as far as the forgiveness, that other category has some requirements on it. So, your banker, once you fill out the application and they talk to you about it, they'll be able to explain more about what the requirements are on that. I do know there's a threshold such as 25%, not more than 25% can be used for other reasons other than the other ones that are listed. So know that.
Let me stop you right there because I want to be 100% clear in getting this information out to the people.
Okay.
We talked about the SBA. So are we going through the SBA or are you going through your home bank?
You're going through your banks. The SBA does not fund loans. The SBA backs loans.
Yes.
So there's a difference. They're not the ones that's going to actually administer them and give you the check. They never were. They never have been. You've always gone through your bank, but they are the backer of the loan. So you will notice every bank has SBA loans because they're a provider of those loans. So just know that. Now, in addition to this, once you, I'm gonna walk you through this. So you fill out that area. You notice up top, you got to put your EIN. If you don't have an EIN, you're sole proprietor, you got to put your social security number, your business phone number, primary contact, email address. Every field needs to be filled out, guys. Then you're going to have to list all owners of the business that have ownership interests above 20% or higher. So if they have less than 20%, you don't have to list them. But if they have 20% or higher, you have to list them. Their name, their title, their percentage of ownership, their social security number, and then their address. So just know that. So this is information you need to be gathering. Make sure you have it in hand. Make sure you can go ahead, and it will help you if you can go ahead and pre-complete your application so that when the online site is up and you're available, you can plug it in, or you can get this over to your banker at your bank and they can manually upload it in their system, but have your documentation to support what you're putting, because it's not just that you get to put it on the paper. You have to actually supply the documentation from your payroll company, from your accountant to support what you're putting on this paper. So very important. Then you have a series of check boxes you have to go through, series of questions, yes or no questions that you will have to answer. So just so you know, this goes into something you talked about, Charles. Will everybody qualify? No, they won't. Look at some of the questions. First question says, is this business? Is the business or any owner presently suspended, debarred, proposed for debarment, declared ineligible, voluntarily excluded for participation in this transaction by a federal department or agency, or presently involved in any bankruptcy? You got to declare. You got to declare that.
Yes.
No. Be truthful. Be honest on this. I don't know. I can't tell you how it affects whether you're gonna get qualified or not. You can have that conversation with your banker. The lender is the only one that know what the regs they'll be using to kind of give this information out. There is some language on the SBA site about the lender requirement and what some of the things they'll be looking at, so you can check there for that information as well. But it doesn't hurt you. That costs you nothing to complete the application.
Where would they go if they want to read up on the regulations and some of the relaxed regulations for this particular stimulus program?
SBA website.gov, and I'll make sure I put that link on the screen here before we end the broadcast. I'll find it and send you specifically to that page. So just remind me of that, Charles. So you can see these questions. Also, if any of you just email us, these things are readily available. You can find it on most of your banks have it posted on their site. You can find it on the SBA site, this application. And again, the name of it is the Paycheck Protection Program application form. So these are things that are readily findable. If you can't find it for any reason, just hit us up on Facebook, or you can reach out to Charles and me, and I will send it to you. So no problem at all there. So that's just a sample of some of the questions. I'm not going to go through them all, but it's not a really, it's a very streamlined application. If you filled out the previous SBA application forms, you know what I'm talking about. You're talking about 4 pages. And it's really only 2 pages, 3 pages you're completing, really 2, this one and this one. And then the other pages are really just declarations. So no reason not to fill this out, but you have to have the information from your accountant, your payroll company to be able to complete this form. All right, don't go in there guessing, because it's not going to help you, because that stuff's got to match when they look at your taxes, because all this information they can pull. So if you're in the state of Mississippi, they can pull it from unemployment, see what you paid in unemployment compensation. That stuff is there to make sure you paid your payroll taxes. So you want to be able, you're going to have to prove that.
Yeah. Now scroll back up, because one thing I want to highlight is on page 2, right here under the certifications.
Mm-hmm.
You're making representations and authorizations. Now,
yes.
if you go down slightly toward the bottom, one key thing is this is a federal document, and because it is a federal document, that means federal criminal code is in effect. And you will have to check under the certifications where it says, I certify that the information provided in this application and the information that I have provided in all supporting documents and forms is true and accurate. What that means is, if you read just a little bit further, you'll see 18 USC 1001 and 18 USC 3571, which provides a statutory penalty of imprisonment for not more than 5 years and or a fine up to $250,000. Those are federal crimes, ladies and gentlemen. And this is one of the things that they will be doing later on. They won't do it right now because we're in the middle of a pandemic, but they will circle back and start doing audits of applications and checking your documents against what you asked for. They may even give you the money up front, but at some point, they're going to check for truthfulness and accuracy. So we want to make sure that anything that you submit complies with this certification.
Good point. I mean, good point. And so those are some things that are out there now. I'm going to try to look up and find that SBA information for you, specifically dealing with um, getting you more information on how to find that resource.
Now,
So
while you're looking for that, what category of business can apply for this type of relief? Is it just
good point.
Is it just for profit, or is it nonprofits as well?
It is both, right? Both nonprofits. So not only is it for profit and nonprofit, it's also coming out. There's another application that will be released on September the 10th. April the 10th. I'm sorry, April the 10th, not September. April the 10th, and that one will be specifically for solopreneurs, self-employed people, where they can their application. So that's the barber, the salon, the local lawn guy, the self-employed, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers. So that application will be released on April the 10th. So they will be able to apply too. This one is specifically for small businesses that hire, and you are, when it says employee payroll, that is inclusive of your W-2 employees and your contract employees. As long as you have the documentation.
When you say small business, is that defined as of any business under 500 employees?
Any business under 500 employees.
Okay. Right.
So, and actually, so what you will realize by the scope of that, for most people, 500 small businesses is not really small the way you think of it. Like,
right.
we would be considered a micro business, but technically, according to the federal guidelines, a small business is any business less than 500 employees.
Okay. All right. And that's inclusive of LLCs, LLPs, partnerships, S corporations, C corporations.
That is correct.
And 501c3s.
That is correct.
All right. Very good. Very good.
Absolutely correct. And I actually have that site. Let me just share that with you right quick. I was able to find it. So this is that site, and I'm going to just put this link right here in the Facebook.
All right, and that's SBA.gov.
Yep.
And it tells you.
I just dropped that link in the Facebook comments there, so you guys can go there. But that will have not only the loan information, who can apply, all that we've covered, the loan details and forgiveness, the information about how that works, other assistance that's available outside of this program, and then it'll have the lender forms and guidance that the lenders will receive. So you can read up on all of that at your leisure. So that information is out there public for you to read. Now, what you might have also seen, some of us I know have applied for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Emergency Advance Fund, which I know that was the first thing that was out there before their system crashed, and then they re-put a modified form out there, which is just depending on when you apply. I don't know where those first forms went. I don't know if that information is going to be shifted over to the bank, because you had to list your bank on that initial application. I just don't know. But what I can tell you, reach out to your bank, work with your bank. They will know, because they will be dispersing these loans. So it's very important that you reach out to your bank and work with them.
Which is certainly a plus, because you have an existing relationship with your bank. And if you don't, this is a time for you to introduce your business to them and ask them for relief that's in a bright line category that everybody in the country is aware of right now. They're going to be helpful. They're going to want your business, because this is an opportunity for you to audition for future funding for your business.
Absolutely. So, we got some questions coming in. Let me see.
Before you get to the questions, drop a copy of that sample application in so that they can read over it and understand what those certifications mean and what information they need to be gathering.
You got it.
And one of the things that I would highlight is when we put together businesses for our clients, uh, we often make certain recommendations as far as the nature of how business is formed, making sure you have clear mission statements, understanding what your why is. Why are you trying to do what it is you're seeking to do in business or in nonprofit? And then recommendations about the team around you. A lot of times clients look at us and ask questions, good questions, but why do I need all of it? Today and this pandemic is a stark reminder of why you need that team in place. Because with good counsel and a good numbers person, you have the documentation that you need to get to the front of the line.
Yeah, I am. I found it, so I'm gonna also now put the link for this application so you can download it and start working on it for the borrower application. Okay.
All right. Now you said we have some questions from the audience.
Yep. Let me get to them. So Davy McComb asked a question. What is the difference between let me just pop this on a question on the screen right quick. What is the difference between a self-proprietor, and I think you meant sole proprietor applying today, and a self-employed person having to apply next week? Is this if you have payroll versus Schedule C income?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the answer is yes, David, or Dave, excuse me. What they're looking for under this particular program is a way to do some easing by helping small businesses with their payroll and their rent or mortgage payments. The one that's coming is going to be based off of individual solopreneurs, sole proprietorships that maybe lack payroll. And so that's why they're asking specifically for the number of jobs, which is equal to the number of employees that you have, up to 500.
Yeah. That link is that you see on the screen is also in the comment section of Facebook. So just go ahead and grab that to download your application and start filling that out now. And start gathering all the information you're going to need. So it's important. That will save you time, save you frustration, and save you headache when you're completing the application, or even when you meet with your banker, because you can just give them all of that information, and then they'll look at it and they'll plug it in, help you plug it in. So don't feel overwhelmed if you're like, I don't know how to calculate this. Get all your payroll documents, all that information, take it, give it to your banker. They will walk you through and help you fill it out because they know how to calculate all of that and the lending requirements and can explain it to you. So don't feel overwhelmed. The hardest part right now is to get your information together. This is why I'm always really stressing the importance of having a accountant, a bookkeeper that keeps your stuff tight. So literally for me, I was able to make a phone call. I was able to run a couple reports from my other system. And so I have all that information at fingertips. But if we hadn't had Dora taking care of that for us, and I couldn't just pick up the phone and call, then that would be a much harder lift. And so I just want to remind you that I know sometimes as small businesses it gets tight. We want to cut corners in places, but never cut corners on your accounting and never cut corners on your people. So that would be two things I would say always be careful about.
Never cut corners on your attorney either, Liz.
Well, that goes without saying. Absolutely, never cut corners there, because when it comes to this kind of stuff, you really need it. Now, for a lot of people, there's a webinar I'll be sharing, and it'll be on our YouTube channel as well. Eventually, and I'll put it on our website where you can get to it on demand. We did in partnership with Representative Latasia Jackson, we did a business formation webinar this week that talks about how to form and set up the formation of your company and why that's important. Sometimes you're losing revenue and don't even realize you're losing it, because when people look for a business, and this is going to happen here, when they're going to look to see if your business is registered.
That's right. That's the main function of the Secretary of State's office when it comes to small businesses.
Right.
Think of it as the birth certificate for your business. Your business is your baby. That's the birth certificate that says who the mom and dad are.
Yeah, I know. I see we have our faithful listener, Sean Harris, is in the building. Sean, I know you have questions, so go ahead and let them rip. Don't feel like you have to hold them. Let them go, and we'll get them posted and answer those questions relative to the stimulus package and the application that was released today. So one of the things I'm hearing from multiple banks, I've heard it from representatives at Bank of America, our bank, Regions, as well as some others, that keep trying, particularly as the banks, we're thinking that as the banks close, then it's gonna remove some of that pressure, because now the people won't be in the bank working with those systems as well. And so we don't think as many people is going to tackle it on their own. So some of these systems should open up over the course of the night where you can go ahead and complete your application. So just keep trying it throughout the weekend. I mean, I'm in the same boat as you. I just have all my information. I have everything filled out. I just need to be able to get online and put it in. So don't get frustrated. Just know that site is going to be back up and operational, and you'll be able to get in. So just make sure you get your information so you can get in, fill it out. It's a short application. If you got your information together, it'll take you no more than 3 to 5 minutes to complete.
Yeah. And just so we can recap that information, because we keep saying information, but let's give them specific tidbits. What documents are you collecting in order to have a successful application?
Yeah. So let me just even put them up here so that I have them. Payroll information. So that's all your payroll register. That's going to have your taxes paid, your payroll taxes, your actual payroll, all your unemployment taxes. Is going to have all of that. So you want to run a payroll register and a tax filing report, or you can have your bookkeeper or accountant do that for you. You're going to want to have your tax returns. At least your last 3 years of tax returns. Is good to have those on hand and ready to go. And you're going to need to have proof of your payment to your 1099s. So if you've paid anybody 1099 over $600, but less than $100,000, you're going to want to have to report them with that with your salary report. But you're going to have the backup to show where you've paid them this. All right, and you should have issued those employees 1099s.
Right.
All right.
Is it too late to go and issue those now?
No. Well, yeah, if it's for a preceding year. Now, if it's for 2019, you are late, but you can still get them out. You're late, but because technically the deadline on that, I think, is January 21st.
Right. Well, I just wanted to point that out, because I'm pretty sure somebody watching is thinking, "Oh man, I forgot to do that." Yeah. So we want to make sure that they understand it's probably too late, especially for past years.
Yeah, it's definitely too late for past years, and it's really too late for 2019. What I will tell everybody is one of the things you can learn from this, make sure you have a system, get with your accountant, so that you should have a system. The same way you pay your employees, you have a system that's accounting for 1099s that automatically sends those out. So you don't have to even worry about that.
That's right. Another question that comes to mind, all of my information is being disclosed. Who's looking at it?
All right, say that again. I'm sorry, Charles.
Basically what you asked for: payroll register, tax returns, 1099 report. That's all of my internal documents. Who's looking at this?
It's going to go to the banks. Your banks and the underwriting department is the banks, just like a traditional loan would go through.
Okay. All right. So they have confidentiality in place. They
Yes.
can't handle your documents in any type of way.
Exactly. That's why when you go and if some of you found this out the hard way, if you go to the SBA with your financial document, they're gonna look at you like, "Don't get those to me." So they're not. That's why the banks will handle all of the loan disbursement. This is a program that's backed and guaranteed by the federal government and those funds. So they're relaxing getting them out and the requirements because, for that reason. But you still got to go through the bank because, again, like Charles said, they have all the confidentiality and security metrics in place to protect your personal information.
Yes. Now, one thing I want to make sure they're clear on, can you explain the dollar amounts and what that multiplier effect does, and then how you have basically a grant of money from the federal government if you use it in the way it was planned for?
Yes. So there's been a lot of talk about forgivable, what's not forgivable. And so I will hit that real quick. Forgivable loans this program is forgivable if it's used and spent under the guidelines by the loan, which means the majority of this money, 75% of what you get, is supposed to be spent directly on payroll, rent, mortgage interest for the business, not for you personally, for the business, utilities for the business. 75% has got to be there, with the bulk of that coming in payroll or payroll related expenses.
That's right.
The goal of this program is targeted for people not to lay people off,
right?
To keep people jobs. So that's really the goal, for you to have the money to continue to pay your employees for 8 weeks, and that's really what the program is designed to do, to kind of hold and prop up the economy and the workforce for a little bit. So it's not.
Which would imply that at some point, those people who are fortunate enough to receive these funds are going to get some extra scrutiny from SBA or IRS or someone within the government to find out if the money was used in the way it was planned for.
Well, absolutely. And let me just say this, to be forgiven, right? That's a separate process. So you have to, my understanding on that is you're going to have to come back at a later time and apply for that loan to be forgiven, probably at the maturity date of that loan. And you're going to have to prove how you spent this money, and it's going to have to match the regulations. And if not, they're not going to grant you forgiveness.
All right. So you need to start planning for that on day 1 or day 0.
Yes. So guys, just remember, this is designed for a specific purpose. Put that in a separate account, and you literally, here's a best practice, put it in a separate account only for that, and you do not write checks from that account. You literally have to move money from that account to your operating account for the specific item that is designated to. You got to have very, just immaculate records with this. It's very important that you do that. If you don't have an accountant, now's the time to hire one, a very good bookkeeper. If that's not your thing, if you're not good at keeping up with books, then make sure you hire somebody. Don't get yourself in a ball of trouble or in a world of trouble that you can't get yourself out of. Tell me now, they will look at this later.
Now would be a good time to give a shout out to Doris Thornton.
Yeah.
So if you have her information, why don't you drop that in here for our discerning viewers? We always try to give away a healthy amount of information. I would think that would be one person that I would want to have on speed dial during these times.
I definitely will get that in here. Just give me just a second. Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's no doubt. It's very important that we are doing those things and adhering to those things, because there's no time like today where no time that I've seen it is more important to have your financial house in order in terms of your record keeping.
Yeah,
because what's a blessing right now could be a nightmare if you don't have good books.
No doubt about it. I really like the fact that you break down how to put these funds in a separate account, because you want as much paper or digital footprint related to how you spend these funds should you receive them. Because at some point there will be forgiveness available, and you want to be able to take full advantage of that. Otherwise, you're paying back at a 4 or 5% interest rate.
Yeah, and I put Dora's information in the comments as well. Website, all of her information there. So
Well,
feel free to reach out.
give her a full shout out, because I believe in her firm, and I believe in the work that she does, and I know she's extremely helpful to us and our clients. So now would be a good time to introduce.
Yeah, I tried to get her to come on the show today, but she said she was so swamped dealing with this too and helping a lot of people, as you can imagine, just trying to get records. But DMS Financial Consulting, it's in. I've put the full details of connecting with her there. She is really good at making the complicated simple. And she will work with you on your level. She'll help you devise a system. And she's very affordable, guys. She's fair, she's affordable, she's efficient. And I can tell you, she'll tell you when you're wrong too. So she'll get you, get on the right track with some of your practices and procedures.
I can attest to that. So we don't make moves without Dora.
Yeah, so no doubt. Feel free to give her a call. If you call her, just let her know that you heard about her from Urban Law, and she'll give you the Urban Law special pricing. So just make sure you mention that. Now, if you don't mention it, that's on you. But mention Urban Law, and she'll welcome you. Let me just check and see if we've had any additional questions come in. Oh, yeah, Sean said, "What's her number?" So I will get that here and put that in there. Good question, Mr. Harris. I had everything but her number in there. Okay.
Yeah. She has a Facebook business page as well, and she can work in all 50 states. So don't let location trouble you. Especially one thing the pandemic is revealing is that video conferencing is available 24/7 all across the country. People are learning how to connect and use this technology to make more efficient business decisions, family decisions, quality time with loved ones, and use this as an opportunity to better your business. And Dora is one of those people that's rock solid at helping you better your business.
Right, and the number is out there. So yeah, ask the questions, guys. This is we've given a lot of information. We want you to have it. This is not what I heard. I am living this, and Charles will know, as I told him this week, he's taking some stuff out from my plate so that I can focus on this week, and I've literally been living this all week long. So I feel your pain. I feel your frustrations. I feel all of it. So I'm giving it to you as I'm in the trenches, just like you are, and trying to get it together. But what I can promise you, if you take the application I've shared with you, download that, get your information together now. Do not go and listen. A lot of your meetings with the bank right now are not going to be in person. So that means you got to gather your information. You probably gonna have to email it to them or whatever. I don't know what they're using right now to do their consults, but it's gonna start with a phone call, and you're gonna have to get your information to them, and they're gonna go over it with you over the phone a lot of times. And they're probably gonna send it to you and have you digitally sign. So that means you got to get their information together and have it ready, because you're not gonna be able to just walk into the bank like you usually would. So keep in mind the times we're in. The way we would normally do business is altered. So now you have to be even more up to speed on making sure you have your forms and all the things you need. I can assure you of this. You don't want to get to the front of the line only to be told you got to go you left something out and you got to start over again.
No, because the line is going to be moving extremely fast, because there are a lot of businesses out there that are in need. And even though it's spread across much of the banking system, think about how many people use those banks on a daily basis. You've got regular business going on, and you've got COVID-19 business going on with these Corona disaster relief programs. So that's an increase in traffic for the banks. And so they're going to be moving. And those people who have heeded our warnings and taken our recommendation, it's a high likelihood you may get some funding.
Very much so. And so I know we're coming up on the end of our show. It's a Friday. I know there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in our homes as we got the kids at home and we're trying to manage that. You're trying to manage work for those of us that are fortunate to still be working. Then if you're not, you're trying to manage the anxiety of how am I going to pay this? How am I going to pay that? I get it. Look, I just want to let you know here at Urban Law, I mean, we're not immune to those same challenges either. So we're not exempt. This is just like this pandemic has no respect of person. Challenges have no respect of person either. So let's just all hang in there together. We will continue to give information out to you as we have it. We will let you know where we're having success. And then the same for you guys. If you guys are finding out things and having success, let us know and we'll make sure we get that information out to the masses. So feel free. It's a two-way communication play here. So make sure you let us know where you find the success as well.
Yep. And if you have legal needs, I would say one of the biggest things that can come of this pandemic, you have an opportunity to dream, plan, and execute in solitude. Now is the time to contact Urban Law and let us help you make those business dreams a reality. Start that new business, plan it out. Let us help you fine tune it and get it going. That's what we're here for.
Well, you know what? I'm going to put this back up too, because I think a lot of us don't realize a lot of our great businesses were started in recessions, were started in the midst of economic challenges. I'm flashing them across the bottom of the screen now. The ones that came out of the last recession in 2009 and 2010, Uber, Airbnb, Slack, Pinterest, WhatsApp app, Square, Venmo, all of those were products of the last recession. So the next great story may be you, but you got to start.
And we're open for business 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Give us a call, get your video consult, and let's make it happen.
Absolutely. We got your social distancing taken care of. We don't want you to have any possibility of getting sick. So we're going to meet with you just like this. We can talk. We can do a virtual handshake.
I don't know about that, Leslie.
No, man, it works. See? Reach out. There we go.
All right. Well, that's all I have, Leslie.
That's all I have. I'm going to get back to manning these sites and trying to help people navigate through these applications. But remember, download that form now. It's very simple. The most work you'll have to do is gathering your payroll records, payroll information, and your taxes and tax information. So if you have those things, get them in. If you got them in a hard form, look, guys, you're not going to be able to walk in and give them to anybody. You got to scan those things in. Go somewhere and get them scanned in the digital form. Find a friend, find somebody that can help you, but you're going to have to get that stuff in the digital form. If not, you're going to it's going to take you a little bit longer to get through the process. So having that stuff in electronic formats, being able to get it right to the bankers, fill your application out with quickness and efficiency means you're going to get money in your pocket to help you sooner than later.
All right.
Enjoy your weekend, make the best of it, and enjoy this time with family. Charles, have a great weekend, my friend.
You as well, sir.
Will do.